So I believe, I'm assuming that we're all seen at least one case where we are building the code, right? So the typical in a code process, right? Typical code process, it starts the user providing or end user customers providing the data, and based on the data inputs, selecting the insurance or products by applying this eligibility rules, and then give the code, right? That's typically the process you see. So now what is happened is, but in the reality, in the inside, I'm just taking like a simple the flow where we have code generation scenario. So you will be touching all these fields and objects, right? And the one you see is I don't know whether we have covered about the party model, but I will be all right. So if you see typical in a health care or any insurance sector, right? You take insurance for on behalf of you or behalf of somebody, for you or behalf of somebody. For example, now I have insurance. I'm taking the insurance not only for me, my wife and daughters and parents, right? So this is the combination which we'll be having it, right? And if you see, here I see I'm taking that is a particular information will be stored in the contact, right? And even though there is the way we say it as like a here we in the contact called party model. So where in which one party is engaging with other, right? So parties, I'm the one is taking insurance, right? Which means I'm talking about insurance company, either insurance carrier or the in a broker. So here is the company account, and since I'm the party of taking it, I call as a party. So in Salesforce, in industries, typically we call it as a party model. Party model where customer and the provider will be attached, having this data combination of the couple object is called account and party, account and contact object is a party model. Why we are saying party model? We say like the person, it is one is taking is a person. That's nothing but a contact object, and is a party. Basically, he's the one is taking. So that's how it is. So in other words, you cover accounts and the contact, and then what will happen is now you have a real insurance, right? Insurance, if you see, it's a product. Basically, we are selling a product, right? And that details will be shared in this in the combination of the product specification, where Salesforce regular product object or the product, right? So that is one, right? And again, it will be connect to another is like attributes. So these attributes we are internally specifying like what type of assignments you have to see, rating attributes, rating use, all this information, right? So this is product specification attribute category comes under product definition. So basically, if you see, I can quickly move back to another screen, right? So if you are building the product, right? So basically you have a product, this product information about the rules and the attributes. So attributes is, typically says something like, the best example is, okay. So let me come back in an easy way. And the rule is, if you are over 50, you will eligible, right? And this one is we provide, insurance, say for example, dental, things like that, right? These are the ones we have, and this is the rating engine, right? And here I mentioned, like, if you see, you define a product and you define attributes to the product, but these attributes are under a category group. So it will start from category. Under the category you have attributes, that attributes assigned to the product. So Bala, I think we haven't covered that piece, but just giving that high level, how this, what are the tables and objects will be covering. All this person information will be, the company information will be stored in account, and the person will be stored in a contact. Here, basically the person is nothing but us, end user. So we call it sometimes company or a group or whatever. And an account, we say like, agent or broker, or the payer, like insurance provider, he's the one is doing it. So that's accountant here. And the quote object, you go to build the code. And somebody submitting this application, they have sorry, they have this these objects. So in a high level, you will expose to the product object, accounts object, party object, quote object, opportunity, and these are like junction object, relationship objects. We call it as account relation, contact relation. And if somebody is submitting the application, this is an application here. These are the ones which we'll be using, quote and quote lines, in the product, the account and all. So these are the high level we'll be using it. I'm just going and backing and checking my sorry guys, I should have opened it. One second, I'm sorry. I should have opened it. I'll be sharing this document anyway. One second. Right. So I'll be sharing this data model document. Typically, like if it's a broker, you will have different different model. Come on. Whereas you're talking about brokers, I just mentioned, like, again, you have account and contact, and the broker's information will be, all the payments will be here. This is basically what I'm trying to say is, Bala, I know I'm not doing a great job, but what I'm trying to say is that these are the models which the objects will be using it. The one, I think the focus has to be done in the both account and contact. We call it as a product, party model. And somebody is now a broker onboarding, typically happens with the application object and application templates. And for insurance, the products which we are selecting, this will be in the part of asset object. Again, we have what is the product here? Okay, the insurance brokerage, you have product license, producer licenses. So these are the documents, these are objects we'll be using it. So that way I'm going to open in the clients. So the client management. So these objects, again, we have the custom objects. The Bala, I think, unless until if I take a use case, I may not do the right job.
Yeah.
But I'm going to send these all the documents which we have prepared, collected from myself. So that way it'll be handy. And
Sure,
I really want to use this is a good one to start, guys. The customer model where we call a person to contact, person to account. The person, you can say like an individual or a company, an organization where they're taking in insurance, right? This could be household, right? Or an account. We typically go by consumer or in a business organization. So you will have this combination, right? Opportunities. And uh, these are the custom objects, like party relationships and the party relationship types. So this is the typical customer model. Let me just take a pause. Do you have any questions? I know it's very confusing at this point of time, but typically just remember, when you say customer, typically you go with this accounts and party, right? And then opportunities, but these are linked with the accounts contact relation. Um, you can see that again, attributes about the particular profile attributes. You will be connected with this attribute junction object, right? And this account will have an opportunity. We are already seeing this one. And this is we already now the previous one we talked about customer. Now we're expanding to the quote, right, or enrollment. So now you have, if you see account and contact. So on the top of, you're talking about quote. So now we're in enrollment, right? When enrollment happens, you talk about the product definition is we're reading from the product table, product objects, and that product object attributes are defined in the attribute category and attribute assignments. Based on the inputs, you derive it and you get the particular products. And then whatever the insurance quote we developed and we created under quote and quote line items, right? So this is the object here. And for application submission and all, we create this one. And one more thing I want to cover, which is the census data. Let me just see that in the census. Okay. So census data is nothing but, when you're loading, when creating the code, right? You're providing how many people are, enrolled to the particular, in a particular, in a product selection or like a code. So that is where we say we create a census data. So with that, let me jump back to the screen. Right. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Ramesh.
Yes, Ramesh.
Yes.
So I think I'm doing a pretty bad job. None of you guys are asking any questions. So let me go to the Omni script. Script small. right? So when you see this is the one, right? And when you are getting the data, let's say I'm providing my information, like dignity type is yeah, teaching annual revenue is 2 million.
Ramesh, sorry, I'm not able to see your screen.
You're not able to hear me, right?
No, I
We are
think that's a
breaking up.
problem with Ramesh, or sorry, Dinesh, your network. I can hear
Yeah,
him pretty well.
yeah, I'm a screen share device is added, but I'm not able to see screen.
We can't hear you, Dinesh. You're
Okay.
breaking up.
So you're able to hear me, right? At least you can see my
Yes,
screen.
Ramesh.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
perfectly fine.
what I'm trying to show is, how this our Omni script related to the data objects. That is the intention of it. So now you see all this information, whatever you are getting is, based on the inputs we are providing, these are the attributes. If you want to have like my attribute is 10% discount, and this is the my limit. So these are the attributes, right? I selected this and I click next. Then what I'm trying to provide is creating my account. Um, so it's a broker. This is nothing but the company, right? And the business is whatever it is. And the pay field for the demo. So, and I'm creating the account here. So when you see this, whatever you see here, it is creating like an account contact in a customer model. Right? And if you see, this is a code number it is created, right? So here, if you, I'm just going back and going back and forth here to show you. So here we touch this account and this party, right? This is my information. This is the company information, and it generated the code, and it got the data based on inputs. It got the data product records from here, and it created a code and code line items, right? So this is where it is go. Data will be stored here. Um, going back to, sorry. So if you see, Bala, have you shown this our microservices? How this is
No, no, not it.
not yet. Okay. I'm just taking, basically, if you see when you're making like a remote call, um, in the report call, you are making like a broker data wrapper here, right? Okay. I opened too many screens. Just closing. There is something I've been trying to get everybody is a practice, but even though I sign up, it is not sending me anything. No, I'm trying to get more arts. That's what I've been trying. Um, okay. Okay, now I'm going back here. So this product, let me just go back to okay. So what I'm trying to show here is the product section of it. In the product, you have I just mentioned, right? In the product, we have how these products are linked. Like if you have a product, we have a product type, specification, attributes, all this stuff, right? So this is we are getting from so this is the product table, right? You have a product. Under the product, we have another insurance. Basically, you have a coverages. These are attributes, and each attributes you will have. Basically, the term attribute I want to try to refer here is, what is the type of information you will select it, and you have a rules, and typically you provide the rules. If so and so, eligible is not eligible, right? And here we define, like, if you want to say, like, if the amount is more than X, then you can go for the approval, otherwise pre-approval, something like that. And these guys are provided to get this table data via some APIs. So that is called microservices. You see, like, a get product related products. So these information, this information, um, so get related products remote action, right? For that, we are saying, like, get that the product information from for a class of this method, this microservice. That is here you would see it. So this is nothing but get related products. What does it do? It will go to that particular table, and based on your information which you have provided, it will go and get the product specification information from this table, right? So the key here I want to tell you is the stress is, like, more understanding this each functions. You want to get the products, you need to call this. You want to get the response or price of the product. Here you need to provide the inputs. Basically, input would be all this information, age, number, class, blah blah blah, and you get the JSON result. And if, for example, get rate products, if you need to provide get rated products, you provide all this information, right? In this case, whatever you have the value there, you will provide it, you will get that rated products. And same thing, you can create a client, you can create, update contact here, right? So this is how it, everything is managed through the APIs. So those APIs you will be calling in the while you create the Omni script. So here, so this is the information we need to understand. Bala, do we have anything specific to that list of the remote services?
We have in the success community, but not a single list, but everything's there on the left
Okay.
data. Yeah.
So
I'll try to
to
share.
summarize, the data model will be sharing it, how this is related. This will help us, this documentation. Second is the microservices, which means, when you call, this one, basically since you are already providing this information, right? Business, annual currency and everything, this, with this, whatever the JSON data available, it will go and get it. If you see here, effective date you are providing and the product code you are providing here, with the product code and effective date, you will be getting the related products, right? So this is the inputs you are providing by calling this method, and you are getting the JSON output. So everything is done via microservices. But however, you could also write your own classes to pull the data. So if you see, there is one more called create code action. So create code, this created update code. If I go here and created update code, right? So basically you are calling this method microservices here. Here, what we say every time in a velocity world or Salesforce world, we need to know what is that to be called microservices at what time. Right? So rest of the data adapters and the microservices. So how we need to call is, we will maybe, I think I have a cheat sheet about the microservices I'll be sharing. So that's a high level right now. You look at this, what kind of project you're working on. Based on that, you will be able to see what are how the data is connected. Right? Important is like a party model, we call it as account and contact, and you are getting the data from products and the data, and is after the steps that you go into store here. How you handle it is, you typically you understand this product level microservices, and you call the microservices within the Omni script. Right, and I will tell you one more thing. Typically when we're doing this one, right, so in the Omni script, so you find out whatever the application you are trying to build, look for the sample ones. For example, if you want to renew a contract, so you go to the renew contract and understand this existing Omni script, and see if there are any methods which we will be calling, right? Then you can get it from there. What is that you're calling? For example, now if I want to see selecting an agent, right? So, oh, you guys said, oh, okay. I want this. So in this case, for example, medical version, right? If I want to see uh, if this is specific to this one, the best an example is, look at the remote calls and see how they are doing it. Let me see the census. See the rating factor table. So if you want to set the rating factor method, you need to call this method. So that's so everything is like configuration. I'm not saying like 100% configuration. The moment we know, we'll be doing it. So what the advantage, like you always telling, like since we have 20 projects or so, we can go and review the projects and see, list out what are the services which we'll be calling, and we'll get it. I'm sure I'm going to help you with this remote calls, because somewhere I have downloaded all these ones. I will share it with you. So that will be handy when you're building the particular solution. And we will be providing, we will be doing certain like use cases. Bala, I think that's the one we were talking about this week, right?
Yeah. We're talking about a small group.
I believe like a large group or small group you're talking
Yeah,
about, right?
similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is it. I think I don't know like now. You guys can follow, but I'm happy to cover uh, if needed more on the data models.
I think this is good for now. So anyway,
Maybe
when
Bala, let me ask this: so how else we can get that information? Because how I see the top. Bala, you can add me since you have more hands-on than me. So one I see is given that flow, we have ERD diagrams, right? And those ERD diagrams, one we're talking about party model, which is a contact and account. Then you have a product, then you have applicant, then you have a code, then you have an attributes. So that's the high level you understand. The second part is looking at these microservices and look at Salesforce microservices document and see what are the microservices functionalities available. That helps my. I'm going to provide that microservices list. I think one time like around Vijay helped me. I can get the documentation in Excel file. We have that. I can also share with us. So I'm sure like some of us, it's like a Greek and Latin, but I can definitely cover in detail. When we have a specific use case. Can you hear me, Bala?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
let me just pick Sridhar. Sridhar is a senior solution architect. Sridhar, what do you think you need additional information specific to the data model, Sridhar?
uh, any document explaining the use case that will be the sufficient, and apart from that, as you said, data model is sufficient, and just explaining what it has to do, that functionality, that's all. Then we can come up with all the
Okay,
details and everything.
right. And okay, so great. What we'll be doing, whatever the ERP diagram, ERD, and entity relation diagrams, we'll be showing, sharing. So that will give the relationship one to many, whatever. Then that you're able to hear me, right?
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, okay.
You're just breaking in between.
So that details I will share you.
Okay, thank you.
So I can say something. So whatever the object model that Ramesh has showed till now is like huge. Like it can be covered with so many use cases. Like the whole health, for a health insurance object model itself got lot of things. The product modeling is like product setup is a different use case, will be different use case. Party model will be a different use case. Creating an application will be different use case, and the person accounts will be different use case. So if we talk about clients, it's a different use case. So what I can suggest to everyone, like so we don't need to understand each and every object and each and every relationship, but whenever you work on something, a specific flow, try to understand what the fields and what the relationships that you're going to cover or satisfy when you insert something. For example, when we insert uh, when we create a code, we need account opportunity, then the code, and what are the other related objects that we take care when we create this kind of flows. Typically, we will be covering this party model when we create this. If we go with the services will take care, microservices will take care of a lot of things. But if we go with data wrapper, we should understand which object we have to insert the data into when we work on any of the use case. So I will try to cover anyway. I told you, right, we will see some of the microservices at least to create the code and all, to get the code services and all. So that I'll try to cover. Uh, so yeah, we can share few use cases where you will understand the object model. Okay.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Bala.
Thank you, Bala. I think um, that's I personally feel like this comes more of a hands-on, but
Yeah.
having that document will be handy.
I think even I need that cheat sheet if you have. I
Yeah,
always
I'll
go
share you.
and refer success community if I need anything. And Velocity has done great job, like providing lot of microservices, lot of templates, which can be used directly in the Omni scripts or cards. I mean Flex card or something. So yeah, you all you'll understand those or learn those when you do more and more hands-on. So don't worry about those at this point. So all you need to focus mostly on configuring or setting up or developing OmniScripts, IPs, data raptors, and these are all like top ups or additional features that you can use. So yeah, let me share my screen.
Bala, before moving on, so I have one quick question. Maybe it's a,
Yeah.
basic question from my side. So, because you have a lot of experience and in Velocity. So,
I have answer for your basic question thing, but yeah, first go ahead with your question.
so as you said that Velocity is providing all these things. So these are all can be used at the development for training purposes, or when we are developing a client project also.
No, in training orgs also we can use those services, microservices.
Training purposes and as well as developing a
Yes.
customer application also. Customer
Yes.
project also.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll walk you. I already showed you this process library and all, but I'll walk you through again. May not be today, but yeah, someday I'll show you what more can you do with the standard features that's provided by Velocity. And moreover, internet is little fluctuating, so I turned off my video. Yeah, about the basic question or small question. A lot of people tell this, but no question is small, no question is big. When you don't know something, it's bigger to you, where it may be smaller to someone who knows it. So I don't believe in small question, big question. Question is a question, doubt is a doubt. Yeah, anyways. So I have to tell one of my experience. I went to one of the interview. They asked me how to write aggregate query. I know how to write an aggregate query, but I don't know it's called aggregate query. So I failed the interview just for that question. I should blame the interviewer, but yeah. Later I realized that I know it and I didn't answer. So I hesitate to ask this question to a lot of people because of my experience. Later I feel like, yeah, it's a basic question, but I failed because of it. So if you have anything in your mind, any question in your mind, whether it is small or big, just vomit it. Just ask someone. we will help to, I mean, we will help each other. That is our Salesforce communities. You know it. If you put it on the internet, hundreds, sometimes thousands of people will answer that question, right? So you can reach out to anyone. You can reach out to me or anyone in our team or in the community. Even now, Velocity started growing similar to Salesforce communities. So yeah, please clear what are the doubts you have if you have any. Yeah. Yeah. Let me share my screen. So we were working on this screen, this flow. So and so I just spoke about some of the templates and microservices. I have it open, but I'm searching for it. It happens to me. Yep. This is one of the template that Velocity has provided. So it's a product selection screen. We will be using this now in one of the Omni scripts. One Omni script is already there where I'll show you how this is used. So to build this, we need to use a lot of things. So this screen, this template, which is called INS OS product selection. So it's a LWC component, Lightning Web component. So where we can directly use this component to have this in our OS OmniScript, which allows us to embed this feature like selection of the product. All we need to do, I think Ramesh has showed a similar thing like this. All we need to pass these information as an optional and the product code as a filter. So here it's not a filter, but we can send some user inputs here. There is no filter in this, but in some of the templates we pass filters. Here we are not passing any product code, like we are showing the related I mean products to select. So all we do is just include this LWC component in the Omni script. Similarly, we have a lot of templates here. Multi-item, let's say multi-item LWC. So if we want this feature, we can use this service. We should understand how to use this. For example, product summary, INS product summary. So it will show the summary of the product along with the product selection. We just saw this, right? Multi-items, we just saw this. Okay, instance, multi-instance mode. Okay, here is the matrix. So Velocity has provided a lot of templates like this. These are all templates that we can use. And we'll also have the microservices.
Bala, can I just interrupt for 1 minute?
Yeah, yeah.
So, Bala, all these templates are defined at the time of implementation, right? As a Omni script or Velocity Omni Studio developer, you would really won't choose which one to use, but defined at the project level. Is that right understanding?
Yes, exactly. So exactly, as a developer, I will not be deciding which template to use. So a solution architect will come up with a solution, but we should also have idea how to use these, how to pass the data and all. So these are important even for developers. Yeah, but this is decided on the product modeling or solution designing level. Yeah, that's why I'm not too much worried about these at this point for you, for all of you. But we want I want you people to just know what we can do more. Anyway, we'll be working on one of the OmniScript now, where we use this product selection template. Searching for it. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. No, I think I stopped sharing. Okay. I'll show you some demo first. I have to write the use case. I'll write and give you what the use case that I spoke yesterday. So this draw.io. So initially, this agent things are done, then this business and contact, then census, then this product or coverage specs. We will be talking only about the product, and then the application. So the flow which I'm going to show you now will not be creating an application. We'll create a code. So we'll use the flow to just modify how we wanted it. So this is the flow that is already there in this org. So in this, if you can see, we have census details, plan types, then selection of the plans and the summary. So initially, as I told you, we will be collecting the group details. Group is nothing but the business. So in this group, before the group details, we'll collect the broker or agent and agency details. So that we have done already. So we'll remove this from here and use the previous one. So then we can enter some company name, the group name, and all these details. So I have some set value where it will fill all these details. So once we collect the group details, then we will just verify whether this group qualifies or not. So depending on the details they'll enter. So yeah, let's say 15th June is the effective date. Like they wanted the insurance to start on this date. So let's say we're talking about small group. So let's say 45 something, then 45 uh, eligible employees are 45, number of employees enrolling are 45, out of state employees are 45. Then any or you code the private exchange portfolio. Some questions. Let me answer yes with every questions. We'll remove these questions. Then when we click next, I'll hold here. This is the most important screen, like census details. Census are nothing but the group members, like employees of the organization. And employees may take for themselves or they may take for their dependents, right? So that's why we collect all this information. So number of members, employee, employee plus children, employee plus spouse, employee plus family. These are some figures. So we'll try to add an employee and we'll understand what kind of information we'll collect for the census details. So first name, last name, maybe the concordation of this both name, and the relationship type is employee. So let's say I'm an employee to Magnity. So I'm one member, and I'll enter my details, some details, more details here, my birthday, this, that, and all, which are about all these senses. So this record, this details will be created as census member. So I don't know why I lost these details, but yeah. Anyways, so I'll enter my details. Then I can add some dependents. Dependent one and the type of the dependent. So so this dependent will come under my bucket, right? I can add more dependents depending on the relationship. So these are all data, right? These are all metadata. We can create whatever we want. See, if we have to um, add parents, we can add parents as well. We can add other dependents as well, not only child and spouse. So these options are not limited. We can just customize them or configure them, add more values, whatever we want. But what I see, whatever I see is like most of the time agents or anyone who's using this will not go with this manual entries. It's not easy if they have to enter some 100 members including the group members and the dependents. They'll always go with the template. They'll download the template. This is the sample. So we'll fill this sample. We'll fill this data and we'll upload back into the into that census updates. So only 5 details are there. We can add more, whatever we want. So we can form the data how that should be with these API names and all. So once we form, we can upload. We can upload using these upload members, which will add the census details here, or how many members and all, and we will see a table also with the member details and all. So I'll show you how this is built. Then in the next step, the type of the product. So let's say medical type. So if we select this type, then something else, medical plans is highlighted. So when we click next, one more page has rendered where we see the plans. So there are two plans under PRO. We have selection here. If I select HMO, I have two different products here. I can compare the plans, configure the plans. I can these are the attributes as I told you earlier. So some these are the various attributes, and I think Ramesh also told you about attributes. So attributes are the additional features in a product. So these are the various attributes that this product is having. So all these attributes are with this product. So whenever we select this not covered, this is not covered. When we select something here, this is not. So I think only few details are added in the attributes, but we can give more choices here, and we can make them input also if we want. These are all tick lists, so we can also make them like input text box or number or whatever. So then once we configure this product, we can add it to the cart. So it's added to the cart. We can see it's added to the cart. So and we can also click on, we can compare, we can remove it from the cart, we can do all these things, and these are all provided with a template. I mean, template is provided to have the feature. I will show you that also. Once the plans are added, then this is the summary page. So where we can confirm, we can remove from here. Not removing, maybe it's not working. So maybe edit selection. I can go back. Can click on this and remove it and add this. We don't see prices because we didn't have any members. So then we can create a code which will create a code. Yeah, code is created, new proposal is created. Now we'll go through all the structure and understand how it is built, and try to use this flow to build our own flow, because we have already built a couple of steps, and we'll use this other standard templates and services to uh, build the other rest of the steps. Time is 5:50, 5:56. We'll take 10 minutes break, then we'll come back and we'll discuss. We'll study what where what is used and all. Then we'll try to replicate this in our org, in our OS. Before we go, any questions on this flow, on the use case? Okay. Okay, yeah. So we'll come back in 10 minutes. 6:10. We'll come back by 6:10. Okay. So we'll understand each step now. So you already know about this. Okay, let me relaunch this flow. And we'll make a duplicate. Okay. So there are so many steps. So when we see here, so here there is an option to collapse, so which will collapse to the step level and all the elements outside the step. Okay, so whatever the arrows we can see are the steps. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 steps, one with conditional rendering, right? When you see this I and this red mark or something, that means this is conditionally rendering. If you remember, medical plan types or just uh, giving the inputs for this page. That's why unless user selects this medical plan, you are not rendering this step. That is the only step that is rendering. So first thing, like group selection. So there is a set value. There is some values which are automatically populated. That's why when we click on this autofill, so everything is filled. But this is some stub data or demo data or sample data. So to give a try, we have this, but we really will not have this for the end user. So this username, this name of the logged in user, this broker number and agency are fetched from the um, from the Salesforce. So here we have a data wrapper which gets the broker information. This we already have done. So I won't waste time here. So user ID user ID is passed the same way we did. So user ID from the OmniScript data is passed as a user ID here. That using that user ID, we are just getting the contact user details, contact details, and account details, agency details. So, but the simplest way is to get everything from that child, I mean parent of the user. But here we are getting data from different objects, queried different objects, but can be obtained from a single object that also we discussed. So when we pass the user ID, so when we pass the user ID, we'll get the user details, right? So it is built exclusively for a community user. That's why contact is referred. So we got agency details, agent ID. Broker is nothing but the agent. So agent name or broker name and the ID of that agent, like contact ID and agency number. So we are getting all these details. So those details are passed to these elements like agency, then this producer number and the broker. Broker is the name. So and producer is the agency number, producer number, and the agency is the name of the agency. So then the group name is the company name. We have a type ahead here to select the which is the type head. So this is the type head SIC. It accepts numbers. So maybe it is an equal to. That's why it's extracting the data. It has a data wrapper and two elements SIC code and description. So yeah, you can go to this data wrapper and check what is happening here and the other details. So this is step one. We have already done this. We have done in 2 steps. So we'll use those steps instead of these. Once these details are filled, let me use this auto populate, autofill. Then how, okay, this is also straightforward. In this step, we are collecting some information, effective date, rating, effective date. It's a formula. So once we add a, okay, once we add, it should auto populate some other value. Maybe it's not working correctly. Effective date plus 0. Okay, so let us debug this later, but yeah, we can use formulas in between. So generally, this rating effective date will be the same, or maybe in some businesses this may be little different. And I also seen like policy end date. From the effective date, we'll also use policy end date, which will calculate just 1 year from this effective date. So that is also, for that also we can use a formula. And these are all just numbers, number fields. So these are also straightforward. And these are some radio buttons. There are 4 questions. This type of questions depends on the business requirements. These questions may change from business to business. Where I worked on one project, there we have eligibility questions, and there are almost 20 to 25 questions depending on the business type of the business. So for agriculture, they'll have a separate business. For restaurant, they have separate business, separate questions. So for restaurant, one question is like, is the owner is going to serve on the table? If they select yes, then they are not eligible. And for one of the questions is your employees also do, is your table service employees also do clerical activity, then they'll have some additional premium on it, something like. So every business will have some questions. So they'll use those questions to check whether the business is qualified for the insurance or not. So that's why they'll have this qualification step. So we didn't include in our flow, but we can include it. Okay, so this is also straightforward. Once this is done, okay, before this we have something called get record type. So record type IDs are not directly available, right? So when we write apex, or when we do it in the flow, we'll always query the record type. In the same way, record type is a table where it stores all the record types. So here, this is very generic, like name, record type, column type, and the object is the object. So we can pass any details into this and get the record type ID. So in the output we are getting record types of the different objects: census record type, account record type, contact record type. Okay, so all we need to pass is the type of the account, and I mean object name and the type of the record type, because this is the name of the record type, like standard, contact, small group. If we want agency, we can pass agency, we'll get the record type of the agency. But here this is used to check the details of the groups record type, standard contact record type, and the small group from the group census. So group census is a table where we'll store the group members details. Okay, so let's go to setup. Go to object manager. By now you all know, so we can see all the object details in the Salesforce under this object manager, where we can search for any object here. So you can see here census is a table, census member is also one more table, where these tables will store all the details about the census and the census members. Right? Census is the junction object. Census members is the object where all the object members details will be stored. So here we will see all the names, etc. So where this census, in the census, we'll see here also there is the census number and number of, census name, census number, and number of people. All these informations are calculated. This is the roll-up summary for that census members. If you notice in the next step, these details are directly fetched, or the details are the details that we get from this roll-up summary fields, right? But I don't think these are the details fetching from the roll-up summary. But when we add something here, these are reading these details. These total of members is the count of total rows, because the data is not yet saved. Unless we click next, it's not yet saved. So we'll see how it is handled. Okay, so we get the details here, record types, then here create census group, where we are creating a census. So in this data wrapper, so we are creating an account. If we are creating that business account. If an existing business account is selected, then we'll update this. Then the contact will be created or updated. Then the census group, then the opportunity. Because to create the code, we need opportunity also. So all these object data are created in a single data wrapper. So all the fields from the OmniScript are referred here. So these are the account fields from the first screen, and the contact details from the first screen and the second screen. Then the census group census is created, right? This is the junction object. So once this is created, opportunity is also created. So remember, whenever we create these data, we always have to satisfy all the requirements of that object, like required fields, validation rules, and any other rules in the triggers. All this custom validations, all the custom validations has to be satisfied or covered. Okay, even the required fields also should be covered, even in this data wrappers, when we insert data using this data wrappers. While updating also, we should keep those in mind. If we fill some data, it will throw an error. Okay, so we are creating these details. Then using this set value, setting some IDs, so that we can use those IDs in the future. Whenever some data is created in the data wrappers, so DRID underscore account, DRID underscore INS, velocity INS group census, DRID underscore opportunity. So whenever we create some object data using data wrappers, so data wrapper post, this post or load. So we generally call it as post. That means creation. This data wrapper will generate IDs and pass the IDs using like DRID underscore account, DRID underscore contact, DRID underscore this velocity INS group census underscore C, DRID underscore opportunity. It will use the API name of the object, and it will pass the data into DRID underscore account. So remember this format. This prefix is always same for every object data creation up to here, and this will be API name of the object. Okay, so we are storing these details in some elements like account ID, census ID, and opportunity ID. So then, so to create the census step, so we have used custom LWC. That means this is a service. This is a template that is provided by Velocity, INS, OS, census, right? Using this, I can directly refer the census where I can have this screen. This screen is not a custom. This screen is a template provided by Velocity, a LWC provided by Velocity. Okay, so when we see this INS, right, that means it's provided by Velocity. INS stands for insurance. So we'll check this in the documentation. Okay, we'll search it. So here is the documentation for this INSOS census. So we can use this template, or okay, I won't call it as template. I will call it as LWC. To use this LWC, we can directly refer this INSOS census, and they'll explain how to do that, how to handle the data, and how files are included. What are the files included? These are the various files included in this LWC, and the way we can use, how to um, add this to the OmniScript, and what are the properties that we should pass as an input. It's asking us to pass census ID, template name, then item per page, how many items per page, census members upload limit, file set name, sorry, field sets. If we have field sets, field set names. So, but these are not required. Only census ID is required. These are all optional, right? So, and we have a lot of other things regarding this census. So how we can use, how we can configure, they have given clear documentation. So let's go and see how it is configured. If we see this one, custom lightning component properties, okay, it's not opening. Okay, we can click on edit as JSON. What happened? We can see whatever are referred. So category names, first name, last name, all the census details what we want to include or refer here. So for save action, for delete action, that means this LWC will take care of the creation of the data there itself, right? We don't need to do it in another step. Yeah, this census LWC or INS census OS, right? OS census is taking care of even creation of the data. It can include, it will include all these details. So to add, to update, delete and all. This itself is this source itself is taking care. So we need to add these to the element by editing the JSON. We should click on the edit JSON and add those properties here. We can just copy paste from here and paste there, which is already done. So then we have a lot of other settings. So if we are doing it for enrollment is a different process. Then we can use this process, but that is for quoting. So we use this process, this above process. So we can just take this JSON code and paste there, paste here. So this is how we can build the screen, build this step. The step for the screen is built just by referring the LWC, custom LWC. Right? We have an element called custom LWC in the inputs. So we can just drag drop it and just refer this, and we can just copy paste this whole JSON, which will work as expected. But remember, we should pass the census ID which is required. If we want other things and all, we can pass others, we can set others, but only this is required. So passing this, if you remember, we have created census and we are just setting the census ID from this drid underscore this object, census group census object, but the creation of the members will be taken care by this LWC. Okay, so once this is done, then getting rating type, census rating type. So we are passing the census ID. There is an object called rating type, census rating type, where we will from the census group, we will be getting the type, rating type. Rating type is an option. Where is this census? Maybe type. So this is census type. So is it for cohort or enrollment or group or system? So here, once we create, we will get the rating type. So it's referred from rate type, not the type, right? Group census, right? I don't know why I couldn't find it. Is it group census? Yeah, group census. Okay, surprisingly, I don't see it on this object. Okay, let's see whether there is a formula. Yes. Okay, my bad. So rate type is not a field there. It's just um, depending on the age. It's just calculated using a formula. If someone, the number of members are less than count of members are less than 20, then the rating type we should consider is age or composite. Okay. So ratings are nothing but calculations, right? So in the insurance, we will calculate all the premium based on the ratings, based on the age or based on the other attributes. It's a big story where these calculations will happen. All these ratings will happen. So I don't want to talk about this now. So we need this rating, whether the rating type should be age or composite. For that we have a formula, and then we are getting the rating type for the specific census, that is past year. So then the plan types are showed as per the census. And again, plan types. This is a multi-select where this is just hard coded like medical. We can also use Salesforce object to populate the data here. We can also have an image. If we have an image, it will show like this. Okay, once we enter some details here, let's do one thing. Remove this. Why I'm not getting this drop down? Yeah, I just deleted. I didn't remember the format. Okay. 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 Let me add few more members. I'll increase his age. Oh, I decreased this. Okay, I'll increase it to a increase his age. Ramaran, what is your age? I don't know whether he's there or not.
What, Mala?
You want to tell his age? I asked Ram
Oh,
Varun what
Varun.
his age. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know where the template is. Do you believe these date of births are real? At least years are real? Priya?
Here, yours is real, Mala.
Oh, thank you. It's already there. So Ram Varun is not real. Okay.
No, Ram Varun might be 90 or 91.
Okay. So yeah. So there is bird, right? So these are the columns from the Excel sheet. So we can just map. This is similar to something like data imports or whatever you can compare with. So these are this first name, last name, gender, or from the Excel sheet, and we can map with the census fields. These are the fields inside the census, all these fields. So once we map them, When we save, those data are saved, and those details are showed here. And we can add more details here under this. So maybe these are uploaded. I mean, these are created in those in Salesforce. Okay, now census members are ready. When we click next, based on the, based on this element, this medical is showed. When I select the medical, the additional step, because based on this type, this is rendered. Medical plans are rendered. Is medical selected? Is medical selected is a formula which is telling that, hey, if he select medical, if they select medical, then only show this up. So once this step is straightforward again. Once this step is done, there is a data after. Oh, there is a data after which is creating all the census numbers, I guess. Let's see. So census group, we are updating the census group census, then group census members here. Okay, so what I told you is wrong. AWS is not taking care of creating these members, but this data raptor is taking care of creating these members in the group members, census members, and update the census. Okay, so this will update both. Sorry, this is an extract. What am I doing? Okay, I'm correcting myself again. This is creating the data. I'm getting the data again using this data raptor extract. Okay, so this extract is getting the details of, okay, only the counts, number of employees, count of employees only, count of employees plus child, employees plus children, employees plus family, spouse, these members, and the rating type. For the rating type, members ages and the ID, member ID, then the gender, then whether he is primary or not, is spouse or not. So based on this, some calculations will happen. For that, this data raptor is fetching all the census details that are required, and then subtype. Okay, velocity INS subtype is an object colon PRO. Okay, these details are fetched here into the set value, which will act as a filter. Then once this page is rendered, is medical selected true? Then medical plan says again a LWC. Okay, here we'll go to the next step. So once this medical is selected, when we click next, you'll see the plans, how these plans are fetched. So these plans are again fetched using LWC, the standard LWC, INS, OS, grid, INS, OS, grid product selection. Dinesh, can you share these documentations? Just copy this into a Word document and share with everyone.
Okay, Bala.
Yeah, thank you. So again, instructions how to just refer this. Just drag drop the custom LWC and refer this name, then edit on JSON and follow. So there are so many ways we can use this. So compare product selection, we can um, set up this way. We can follow these instructions. Then to add selected product to the cart, so we have a different service for it. OS grid cart summary. So then adding to the OS, how we can add it, they have given some steps. Add JSON code to the INS grid product selection something. So they have given this code. We can refer this code directly. Okay, we can just follow this documentation to configure this. So if we come here and see, so these are the attributes, basic attributes. So census JSON, all the census JSON is added here. Okay, user input, because based on the input, the premium is calculated. Then the pre-filter, pre-filter value is here, right? I need to see what exactly it is. So show product tile 2, maximum compare products 4, or if we edit on JSON, we will see lots of settings here, lots of attributes added, right? So there is something for double, sorry, detectable. I should zoom out, then only I can read properly. I think I should consult a ophthalmologist. So primary care, coincidence. Don't worry about this. We can just copy paste. And so we have some placeholder also. Then some service filters. So if you remember, we have two types, right? HMO, PRO. We can pass these dynamically. So we have some options map also. And these are the important things like census, JSON, pre-filter, show product type, maximum compare products. But one more thing is like these filters are most important in anything. Like we are passing the type medical, and there are two more values that is passed: the small group and the family as other. So there are three in filters. There are three things. One is type, other is market segment, and the family. Market segment we are talking about small group. That is the small group is passed. So and for family we selected other. So based on these inputs, this will render. This will render and it will show the related products of the PMO or HMO. Okay. So where can we find these products? I think previously Ramesh has showed. We can just go to products. Under the products, You can see this HMO, and we'll also see PMO, some PPO. We can add more attributes. There are lot of sample products provided to us. Some will be attributes. So don't worry about this product setup now, but let's see this HMO. Oh, 25 is not there. So let's see 35. Yeah, PPO 35. So these are the coverage specs. That means the sub options in the products. Like I earlier told you, there are a lot of pick lists that we have seen. So if we click on this configure plan, we see a lot of sub attributes. These are called as coverages. So emergency service, flexible spending amount, hospital based service, etc. We have a lot of coverages here, coverage specs. These are called as coverage specs. These are actually the attributes under a product. Okay, so don't worry about these terminologies. These are not very important for a developer initially, but if we know these, then it will be very easy for us to work on these object models and all objects and all. So okay, for example, emergency service is there. In emergency service we have all this ambulance, emergency room, etc. So we have values in this, right? So only this is available. That's why we see only this one. If we make something else as available, then we will see that also under the pick list. I'm not enabling it or making it available, or we can hide this from the product by just selecting this is hidden, right? How to configure this? By just creating one more product like this. Okay, this emergency service itself is a product where the type of the product, record type of the product is cover spec. So we need to create a product as a cover spec and add this cover spec under a product. So that's why I called it as a sub product. Okay, so again in this product we have a lot of attributes. So a lot of attributes. These are the attributes under the products, under this cover spec, and these are available directly under a product because we added it. We can add it, right? We will have an option to add cover specs. We can, if we click on this add, we will be able to add this cover specs. So we can maintain the data about this cover specs. Based on the value of this cover specs, the premium is calculated. Okay, so I think Ramesh has walked through few of the things, so don't worry about other things and all at this point. So if you see, we have subtype and the type. So this is the subtype that is passed, and the family, product family is other. Line of business is group health, and market segment is small group. So based on all this, the product selection screen got these values, right? So we added 2 members. That's why you got the price now. It's calculated based on all these coverages, all these coverages. So added it to the cart. So for me and Ram Varun, now our company is paying this much of premium for our insurance. If this is the product, then this is the price. If this is the product, then this is the price. So the difference of these products will be some difference in the coverage specs. So there are some terms here, right? Delectable is this much, out of pocket is this much, coincidence is this much, office visit is this much. Ramesh can explain you well about these terms and all. So once these plans are configured, this is added to the cart, but all this happens with just by just adding one customer WC and just configuring it. So once this is configured, then the confirm page. Again, confirm page is also an LWC. A lot of LWC templates, right? Lot of LWCs. Again, if we go to this, this is a summary page where this also a pre-built. Like it will show the plan, the breakups of the premium, whatever. So again, they'll explain how to just add it to the Omni script. I think this is pretty straightforward. Now much things and all. Only we need to pass some details. I think nothing is passed. Okay. Nothing is passed. So this is just taking care or reading the data from the LWC and displaying. Let's see how this is displaying. So once product is selected, then I can see the breakups, $2,800 per month and so and so. So then once these confirmation is showed and user is happy with it, if you want to go further, then we have a service called create update code. This is the most important service. Yesterday I told you, right? Instead of creating code using the data wrapper, we can use service. Why should we use service? What is the main use of this service? If you see this small group coding, small group code JSON will have a lot of information. It will have all the attribute information. It will have all the specs information, specs or attributes, whatever. And it will have all the user inputs, all the census details, everything, right? So if we have to create a code using a data raptor, then we need to transform. They already have transformed it. How they transform? Let us see. To pass to the service. We didn't actually discussed about the transform. I just told you in high level what is the use of transform, but we never discussed about the transform. We're actually in time, but I need a few more minutes to finish up this flow so that from tomorrow we can integrate this into our main flow. I'll write the use case and give you. Okay. So this is the transform. Transform is used to uh, transform from one structure to the other structure. If you notice, all these account ID, census ID, etc., are from the OmniScript data, right? This effective date, selected product, everything. Okay, so all this data from the OmniScript is used to transform into the small group code JSON, right? In this, we should see something called records. We don't see it. Okay. Yeah, here it is, records. So which is selected products. Selected products will have all the details which is passed as records. Configuration product configuration details colon records. This will have all the information. Okay, so this structure is transformed into this structure, and this structure or this specific node small group code JSON is directly passed into the service, right? You can see it here. Input key is nothing but the small group code JSON. And to create a code or to create code line items, this pricebook ID is required. So all the census details are created as code line items. Okay, so so quote line item is a junction object between quote and the product. So all the coverage specs are created as quote line items, and even the product. I mean, quote line item is created for everything. So for that we need a price book name. So that's why we also pass price book name. So we'll see how what this service is doing. Okay, this INS code service. In this we have a lot of services. So we have a lot of services under it. So let's see, create update code. So create update code microservice. This is a microservice or service, whatever. So this microservice can be used to create or update in code, right? So we use this microservices for a lot of reasons. So if we have a remote class, first thing we discussed, like data wrapper, using data wrapper, creating all this is very tough because we have to take care of creation of the code and the code line items. So mapping the data is very tough. There will be hundreds of fields to map, so very tough. So it's always good to use a service, microservice. So we can use this microservice where this microservice will take care of all the creation of codes and code line items. And also this is a remote class. This is a class. So this executes on server side and improves the performance. So, and the testing of the class is also taken care by Velocity. And also they have tested for thousands of scenarios, and this is a better working thing that Velocity has provided to us. So we always use this services whenever we require, we need. So all we need to do is we need to pass these details which are required. So the opportunity ID is required, effective date is required, right? And all the other things. So we can just use this service. So if you can see from here, remote options, we can use all this. Only input key is required where we can pass the JSON. No. If we pass the code ID, then it will update the code. If we don't pass the code ID, then it will create a new code. So even we discussed price book is required, right? And we can use this input JSON. So this is how the input JSON will be, right? This is what will be there in that records JSON, small group data JSON or small group code JSON. This one, small group code JSON. So in that product configuration details and records. These records will be in this format. So imagine if you are creating a data wrapper to map all this data, is it possible? No. For me, no, because this structure is really complex. So that's why we'll always go with services in these kind of cases. So this microservices is used to create the code, and once this code is created, it will return only the code ID. So using that code ID, we'll get few details using the extract. Oh, these also a service which will get the code details, minus code service, get code details. So using this code details, we can get code ID. Oh, so this is passed actually. These details are passed, and we'll get the whole code details. And using those code details, we are just displaying the code number from this code details. We are just displaying number. So when we click on create code, let it create. Yeah, code is created. If we go into the details, the debug, this is the create update code. So request is passed, all this input records everything. So and the response I will get is code ID. And using the code ID, the code ID is passed again to get code detail service. Okay, even into get code details, along with this, the input is also passed, doesn't matter, only ID is enough. So it will return the whole code and code line items details. So in this, we displayed the code number there, but this will give all the details. These are the code details, these are the code line items. Under this records, we'll have the code line items, which will be like child products. So these are all the code line items. If we open this code, we will see this is the code ID. So this is the code created. The code name is the product name. You can handle it. Then if we go to the details, this is the effective date. I've given 15th, right? So end date is 1 year. I don't know. I've given 15 or 16. So then if we scroll down to the code line items, so these are the line items that are created. So here is the product, main product, and these are all the attributes. So I think this product attributes doesn't give any pricing, additional price to for this, because we don't have the ratings or calculations that happen. So yeah, so this is the quote. So now quote is created with the opportunity. So what we need to do, or what we need to modify, I'll tell you. And also I want to show you something else. Even the LWCs, when the LWCs are executed, like the census is in LWC, right? So every time we re-render it, we change the details. So this will be re-rendered. For the first time, the census ID will be passed, but for the second time, the response from the previous one, the response from this census is passed as the request of this census. Again, when we re-render, when we make some changes, these LWCs will execute again and again, right? So again, this response will be passed as request to this LWC. Even for products, for everything, even medical plans are executed twice, right? So these LWCs will execute multiple times. First time it will take the input that we have specified. Second time it will take the input from the response of the first one. So that is how these LWCs are built. We can clear out, we have some settings or properties to clear out these things, but I suggest to keep this. If we clear out, this will again reset all the data. So okay, that is about this small group quoting. Now what we need to do is, like, if we go to our flow, so we have this setup, so we have to get rid of these two things in the flow that I showed you, and then we have to add the census product selection to our flow, or we can use the same flow, some modifications, and use this as the child to our own flow. Then we need to create an application, which is not happening here in this flow. Opportunity is getting created, codes are getting created. So the code that is created should be uh, should reflect to this application. Application will not have code directly. Application will have opportunity as child. So under that code. So we need to create one application and refer the opportunity to the application, so that the code records that are created every time will be available on the application itself. Then we have an object called policy. Then any one of the code is approved, then we need to create a policy, and the policy number should be updated in the application. That's what you should do. Give me today, I may not do it, but by tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow is Monday, so no session. So tomorrow, by tomorrow end of the day, I will write this use case. I'll write this use case and share with you, so that you can fill the missing things. You have this, and you have this and this now. So what you need to do is, like, put everything in a single flow, and you need to create this and this, add it to the flow. Okay, so I think I'm good. I want you people to ask me the questions now. Any questions? Can someone break the silence? I know this session is overwhelming, but I'm expecting some questions.
Bala, one question related to the user ID which you are using. So it is a community licensed user, right? So when
Yes.
we are working in the, we are not having a community user license. So how can we create that?
Okay. So good question. Community is a different concept. So I have set up the community. I'll do one thing. Tuesday, or maybe me or Dinesh or Ram or someone of us will explain you how to set up the community. So community licenses are available directly in this editions. So we already set up the community in this org, and that I showed you, right? Mike Sexton, not Mike Sexton only,
James.
James Sexton. Okay. James Sexton is a community user. So you can pick up this guy's user ID and try to test, or you can log in directly into the community using this user ID, using this user. So for that you should know how to set up communities and how to log in as this guy. For now, try to use this user, but in future, when you learn about communities, you will understand this. Communities is entirely a different concept.
Okay.
Um, okay, I'll stop the recording anyways.